Mira a la derecha. ¿Qué ves? ¿Dónde estás? In a world that seems to change daily, what will you do next? Welcome to the Next Steps Show with Peter Vasquez, a starting point for discussion y un poco de dirección. Yep, señoras y señores, it is Wednesday. You know, it's a beautiful day today, ladies and gentlemen. A little water grassing coming from God, and then, later on we can all grumble as we cut the grass because, gosh, Bob, the grass doesn't stop growing.
It does not stop. It's been insane. We have 13.65 acres here at our AM site, just south of Rochester, and normally this time of year the weeds kind of go into decline, and no, not this year. We're just mowing and mowing and mowing.
But, it paused the rain there for a little while. Remember before I told you I use a push mower right now. And I was like, it's going to get warm. The rain's going to go away. The grass isn't going to grow so quick. I'm going to have, at least a week break here from having to push all these mowers and all these lawns. And nope, boy, that's a mistake. I mean, I'll tell you, I finished the other lawns yesterday and looked back and said, man, not bad for a 53-year-old pushing a lawnmower. It's self-propelled, I'll give that. Ladies and gentlemen,
and you're still pushing it? I hate to break the news to you, Peter, but you don't have to do that.
I don't have to do...
You don't have to push it if it's self-propelled.
Yeah, I gotta pull it. It's like a front-wheel drive pusher where you pull a lever and then it kind of pulls me along a little bit. But if I let it go, it doesn't go anywhere. So it's...
I'm not sure he's using this right, ladies and gentlemen. I think that we need to intervene here.
Move on, Peter. Hey, lines are open, 585-346-3000 or 866-552-1009. We've had a lot of guests on and we've had a lot of discussion and like I try to do, open up the phone so that we can talk because, you are my favorite guest all day, every day. You know that? 585-346-3000. What say you? Let's talk a little bit about something other than a lawnmower that, I call self-propelled. But Bob, just real quick, on my defense, it literally says self-propelled right on the lawnmower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's your first clue.
I'll have to see where it was made because...
It doesn't say, Peter, this is self-propelled, but it's still valid.
The question is not simply whether government should do more or less, Bob. You know that?
No, the government should do less.
There's
no question. Please spare us. I see that Kathy Hokum has added again. The ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, has this new proposal whereby you should be able to buy firearms, assuming that you're not a prohibited possessor and you do the background checks and all that other stuff, where you can buy a gun and have it shipped to your house. You can have that done with prescription drugs now and with alcohol, if you're an adult and it's legal for you to do so. But, no, we can't have shipping guns. Kathy Hokum wants all the guns to be shipped to FFLs, federally licensed firearms dealers. And why is that important? Well, because she and that dour, obnoxious Tish James want the FFLs in New York State to all go out of business. So see how this works?
I do.
We got to ship the guns, not to your house. We got to go to an FFL, except they're going extinct.
So the Attorney General, though, Bob, she's joined by 22 other Attorney Generals objecting to broader ATF regulatory change.
All Soros plants.
Every single one of them. Hochul says, she intends to propose state legislation in January, right? Again, to make that final sale in person. It's interesting you bring that up, though, because Hocus Pocus and Letitia James, I'll tell you, we have a representative here in New York, Mike Lawler, who I think put it in perspective for me in reference to quite a few things, really just the AG doing her job in general, instead of sitting here saying, meet us citizens who legally has a weapon or a license to carry a weapon in this state, who is constitutionally authorized to carry it, right? That you can't have it said. But what gets me is that they like to send liquor and now you can order pop by phone or internet and have it delivered to your home. You can do all that, right?
Oh, sure.
You absolutely can. But, let's look at Letitia James and what Representative Mike Lawler had to say about her.
Like a majority of the American people, I think we should get out of the war in Iran.
Jerry.
Care for all. I think we should have higher taxes on the wealthy. There's plenty of areas I agree with them on. There's plenty of areas where I disagree. But the point is, Laura, I respect you. You've been a journalist for a long time, but your estimation of what's going on here is entirely false. The fact is, there are specific leaders who have emerged out of the DSA who are providing a vision that actually a lot of people in this country are hungry for. That is not the status quo of what's broken with the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And it's not about some stray activist members. It's not about a platform. It is about the leaders that are emerging, like Bernie Sanders, AOC, Mom Donnie, some of the folks who have won primaries lately. They are pointing in a specific direction, and there's a reason they're winning. They're talking about progressive policies.
Which policies? Let's get really specific. Let's get specific.
I literally laid out to you the kinds of things they're advocating.
No. You said this is the stuff the Democrats have been saying.
Oh, boy. Okay. Sorry. Wrong cut, folks. We'll explain that in a minute. Peter, set this up for us again.
We will. We have a caller. You want to go to him real quick? We have Gary.
No, let's straighten this out first. Gary, hang in there if you would, buddy.
Absolutely.
And we'll come to you. Tell us what this cut's about.
So this cut that we just listened is not Mike Lawler. That's actually Laura Ingraham, who was interviewing Mike de Blasio on another topic we're going to discuss.
Mike de Blasio?
Or Bill de Blasio, excuse me, the former New York City mayor.
Why
that was the two voices.
Why is she talking to that non-entity? I don't get it.
Well, because, this is another Democrat who's got some influence in those ranks, who are turning around and promoting the Socialist of America, and he tries to put it in plain English so that all of us can say, oh, yeah, we should do that.
The Democrat, he's not capable of putting anything in plain English.
No, he's not.
All right, let's set us up with Mike Lawler now. What was he? What's he all about?
Yeah, so Mike Lawler, he did a press conference recently, and in that press conference, he basically called out, the AG and said, listen, you need to do your job. And that particular cut, though, was in reference to hate crimes and some other stuff. And I bring this one up, right, because I was going to talk about the gun things later with ATF. But you see, they focus on things issues that really don't make any sense to me. And that's what I want to talk about. It's an election year. Let's play cut 2, and then I'll get more into it. This is Mike Lawler at a press conference. I believe it was August 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
The Attorney General of the state of New York, Letitia James, needs to actually do her job, which means prosecute anti-Semitic hate crimes. Over 90% of anti-Semitic hate crimes are not prosecuted in the state of New York. So rather than running around doing whatever the hell she does, where she plays politics every day, maybe she can actually focus on what her job is, which is to ensure the safety and well-being of New Yorkers as the chief law enforcement officer in the state of New York. And so, I saw her statement she put out the other day decrying what happened. Great. Prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. Stop releasing these people on cashless bail. Start going after criminals who jeopardize the safety and well-being of law-abiding New Yorkers. That's what needs to happen here. We have seen a rapid rise in attacks on places of worship. We have seen a rise in anti-Semitic hate crimes. People being attacked for practicing their faith.
Well, and see, this is Bob, she needs to do her job and stop playing politics, because when we look at things like this ATF bill that she's sitting there advocating for, along with the governor and other ding-dongs, when we listen to, that interview with Laura Ingraham and de Blasio, I mean, guys, this is why I keep saying we got to pay attention. We got a election coming up this year. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. See, when I said, listen, and I said this tongue-in-cheek, because we do got to look at qualifications. But really, short of just wiping out everybody, we just got to vote them all out. And that's all the Democrats, because I can't find one right now today, regardless of their overall objective, that isn't buying into this philosophy. Gary, thanks for calling the Next Step Show.
Oh, hey, Peter. Hi, Bob.
Hey.
This is an interesting topic. Lawler makes a lot of observations there about what Letitia James is doing. But it sounds like he still thinks that she understands her job to be protection of our civil rights. That clearly is not her job. Her job is to destroy the Second Amendment and to keep the voting fraud going.
Yeah.
And by any means necessary. That's why she's being sued by multiple people now for deprivation of civil rights and defamation. But what I wanted to call originally about was this Kathy Hochul scam where they repeated a lie that was straightened out 2 weeks before they had a press conference with her and Everytown and Giffords and all these gun grabbers groups. Robert Cicada, the new head of the ATF, wrote a letter to John Feinblatt, the president of Everytown, and said, stop lying about this. This regulation that they're talking about where everybody can buy a gun online is not true. It's been in effect for years. All they're doing is returning it. And it was set up originally to facilitate people that lived, like several hundred miles from a gun store. And they had the universal background check that was started in 1968. Okay, so that law was made for that, but you still had to undergo a background check. It was just a way to pre-clear people so that they could order something from the gun shop and have it sent to them legally. It's no different than going into the shop and doing your background check. And technically, once you've passed one, why should you have to do another one in 20 days or 30 days? Because if the reporting system works right, as soon as you're convicted of a crime or are committed to a mental institution involuntarily, NICS is supposed to get notice of that. And then you go on the prohibited list. So they're making a big mess or a lot to do about nothing. And this law, ironically, was written by a woman, or the law, it's a regulation that was initially put into place here a number of years ago or updated a number of years ago. And she now works for Everytown Law. So there's a revolving door between some of these agencies and the gun grabbers. And the bottom line reason why they want our guns is because so many of them, I won't say everybody, but if you make a certain level of success in the political world in this country, you're either crooked or you're looking the other way. Because we're finding out that the whole system has been rigged against we the people. And if those people, if you're one of those people that's in on the take, that they've got, their family started an NGO and now they're getting government contracts and, Uncle George is getting a big $150,000 a year salary to be the director of this NGO. You're not going to want all your neighbors to find out how crooked you are and be a well-armed militia. And that's the bottom line.
That is 100%. Hey, let me read something to you because there was some reaction to this here locally, and this was in the news. Local firearms dealer Brandon Lewis argues that technology can preserve safeguards while increasing consumer choice. He says, I think we can accommodate this as well as the same overall safety mechanisms in place. That's a comment from a local firearms dealer. How would you respond to him? How do you take that response?
I'm not sure what he's saying they can accommodate. Is he saying that they can work with this law?
Well, that's in reference to this law. Yeah, that was a response to the ATF proposal that Hoko's saying she's going to put out in January.
Well,
he's an FFL dealer, so he's perfectly fine with guns being shipped to him as opposed to direct to the consumer.
Because dealers
there's a lot of guns being sold online now, and one reason is because it expands your market, but it still has to be shipped to an FFL dealer. So let's say I go into a gun shop and I go through I found a gun on Gun Broker and I want to buy it. So I go in, I talk to the dealer, I get his information, I send that to the dealer that has the firearm for sale, and then he can ship that to my dealer, and I can go in and do the background check and pick it up. What this allows you to do potentially would be I go in, do everything right up to the point where the gun has to be shipped to my dealer. What if I go in and do the background check and I'm clean? Why can't that gun be shipped directly to me then?
Yeah, that's what she wants to end. She wants to circumvent that and keep it the way that it is. Hey, we got to go to break, but thanks for the call, 585-346-3000. If you'd like to join the conversation, it's the Next Step Show. Peter, take us up.
Absolutely. Lines are open. Mira, give me a call, 585-346-3000 or 866-552-1009. I'll be right back.
the shotgun. You used to be the bad boogaloo. We used to be the swing sing-a-ling. You used to be the funky four corners. Down on Funky Street. Digging the funky beat.
Need football wear and your gear personalized?
Top-notch monogramming.
Need towels, blankets, bags, hats, hoodies, jackets personalized?
Top-notch monogramming.
Need bridesmaid, groomsman gifts personalized?
Top-notch monogramming.
Need corporate wear, staff wear custom logoed and personalized?
Top-notch monogramming.
Need Rochester, Buffalo, New York wear?
Top-notch monogramming.
Need Grateful Dead, Bob Marley swag?
Top-notch monogramming.
No minimums. Customer supplied items welcome. Quick turnaround.
Top-notch monogramming can help.
Owner operated. 7 Shone Place, Pittsburgh.
Peace and love since 1992.
The youth of our city are in a new crisis. Criminal justice reform has created the consequences of no consequences and generated a whole new generation of 12 to 17-year-old kids committing serious crimes. Never before have we had this level of youthful offenders, but 90% of these kids are just trying to do the right thing and need a safe sanctuary to retreat to. That's Rochester Youth for Christ. You can be a part of this solution by giving generously and regularly at yfcrochester.org/donate.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the Voice of Liberty.
And the show brought to you by yfcrochester.org. Youth for Rochester. Wonderful organization. Peter, take it away.
Absolutely.
Keith.
Señor, te agradezco. That's how much I appreciate you, sir.
Oh, shucks.
Absolutely.
You're making me blush.
You know, yeah, never mind. A Siena August likely voter poll has Kathy Hochul at 49% and Bruce Blakeman at 39%. We know that, right? A 10% difference.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, when you look beneath those headlines, right? On keeping New York safe, the difference that falls just to 47% and 44% between the two. To me, those are the stats that make a little bit more sense than to who am I going to vote for in a state that, well, I mean, we know is what, like a 8-1 Democrat almost across the board in almost every county?
I don't think it's 8-1.
I think it's like that in Monroe County.
I think it's like 3-2. But we all know that the Siena poll is the suck up to leftist poll. So yeah, I mean,
aren't they all?
Yeah. Well, listen, polling is becoming the pariah of the political scene these days.
Big business.
It's big business, but it's also being shown as increasingly corrupt and unreliable. So, you know, you got to pick your polls very carefully. We've got Keith on the line.
Hey, Keith.
Two things. From yesterday, Peter, I thought I heard you insist that I voted for your opponent when I've said several times on the radio I left the county clerk's race blank. It was the only one I did not vote on, but you seemed to say yesterday that I did vote for No-Show Romeo, and then you called me a Democrat, and the doctor correctly stated, well, just because he didn't vote for you doesn't make him a Dem. I'm really concerned about you, a 53-year-old man, taking it so much to heart. Looks like you have a hard time with rejection, and instead of blaming the voters for not getting you into office, you should look at yourself as for self-improvement. So
okay, you two, each one of you go to your corner. That's enough. Peter, don't say that he voted for No-Show Romeo and Keith. Let's just move on. You got anything else for us today?
This has to do with Sheriff Allard from Steuben County.
Please.
Oh, come on, Bob.
Their legal department said that the sheriffs could not break a law that at the state level, Hochul and Letitia James were already breaking the federal law. So I want to know why the feds are not in there arresting Hochul and the AG, that they're the ones who are breaking the law and telling the sheriffs not to cooperate with ICE. So Allard, the sheriff, was making a point that the law has already been broken, but it's been broken by the governor and the AG.
Yes.
Why are they not in federal custody?
Short answer, nobody to prosecute him.
Mm-hmm. That's a good answer, actually.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's a fact.
who's gonna march up to Kathy Hochul and say, "Put your hands behind your back, please"? I don't think that's likely to happen. But the good sheriff of Steuben County is absolutely correct, Keith.
Before you let me go, well, why do we blame? If you're going to hate me, do we blame Trump Justice Department? Well, what do you mean there's no arrest? What's going on there?
Well, I'm not sure how this would work. Letitia James, I'm assuming, is going to have to prosecute the governor, and that's just not going to happen. It has nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the way that the state is run. Trump would readily admit to you, Keith, he has no control over over the politics in New York State, and he deplores it.
Yeah.
Lorraine.
Anyway, thanks for the call, Keith. Appreciate that. Let's go to Lorraine is standing by. What you got for us, Lorraine?
Well, I'll be quick. I've always wondered why, and I don't know who's in charge of this part of things, but why Letitia could get by with claiming to be have Virginia, somewhere in Virginia, her primary residence while she ran for Attorney General of New York.
I correct me if I'm wrong on this, Peter. I think Harmeet Dillon's looking into this, is she not?
From what I read, yes.
I think the DOJ's on this, Lorraine.
Actually, I think they've moved on it, not just looking into it.
I'd have to refresh my memory as to exactly where we are in the process, but no, Letitia James is not in the clear, last I knew.
She's done so many things against Trump that she concocted their capricious lawsuits and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. She's a piece of work.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. 585-346-3000, 585-346-3000. Or if you are out of the Rochester area, 866-552-1009, toll free. A little housekeeping thing here, Peter. Thank you all for your patience as our FM stations have been off during the daytime this week because of engineering construction going on up on the TV antennas on Pinnacle Hill. That is where 92.1 is located, very kindly on the WXXI tower, way up at the top. And then 92.1 feeds 95.5 out in Spencerport. So that's why Spencerport is not on the air independently, because we don't have a separate audio path out to 95.5. 95.5 heard by relatively few people in Monroe County. It's more of a Western Monroe County and Orleans County signal. But we'll have to ask you to patiently listen to our 27,000 watt AM at 1040, the best AM signal in Rochester these days. And thank you for your patience, but it's beyond our control. The tower workers up on Pinnacle Hill have to work in a safe environment. And if everybody's not off the air up there, and by the way, the TV stations are all off too. You've probably noted that. They're not going to be safe. We don't want that.
No. But Bob, though, this is a great opportunity for our listeners to go to your website, right?
Absolutely.
And that website is WYSL1040.com. And you got a podcast link there.
Yes, we do.
And we're also working on bringing more digital stuff to people.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Big new, Peter's our new digital media director.
Oh, well, thank you. I didn't know that.
Absolutely. We're doubling your salary.
Oh, wait, you added director. I'm going to have to, I was going to say that. Director. That's like a $300,000 job. I mean, from all nonprofits that I've seen, except for the ones I've worked at, apparently.
Not that you're going to get $300,000.
No, but the thing is this, though. See, digital is so important because in times like this, or even just in general, ladies and gentlemen, digital, I'll tell you, if you don't know about it, give me a call. We'll tell you all about it. And the thing that is so cool about digital is that, and I'm just talking internet right now, seriously, in general. Like right now, when we go to this break, you can go on Google or Safari or whatever other one that you use out there, see, and type in these words, Protect Act, right? Senate or S22828, because we're talking about that when we come back right here on the Next Step Show on the Voice of Liberty.
Yeah, I'm telling you, folks, from what I know, this internet thing is really starting to catch on. And it's pretty darn exciting. I got to find out more about it. WYSL, WLEA, Voice of Liberty.
inside. Days that we were once together, seems we'll never collide.
The voice of liberty. WYSL. Avalon, Rochester. WLEA, WLEA FM, Hornell, New York. Southern Tier Update.
Steuben County Court News. Steuben County Assistant District Attorney Joan Mary tells our news department that there were several indictments handed up this week in Steuben County Court. Here they are. Eduardo Masonet of Rochester, he's charged with third-degree criminal possession of stolen property and aggravated unlicensed operation in the second degree. Reginald Jackson of Elmira is charged with fourth-degree grand larceny and petty larceny. Ernest Wheeler of Addison has been indicted for third-degree criminal possession of a weapon. Stephanie Louise of Corning has been charged with third-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance and third-degree criminal trespass. Again, these were indictments made this week by the Steuben County District Attorney's Office. Brian O'Neill for the Voice of Liberty.
Hey, folks, Larry Jones here, congratulating WLEA on 75 years and keeping the Southern Tier in the loop.
Southern Tier Weather, brought to you by Jones Memorial Hospital.
Partly to mostly cloudy this morning with a chance of showers and thunder in the afternoon as highs reach near 80 degrees. Any rain will end after sunset with partly cloudy skies to follow and lows in the mid-50s. And then partly cloudy skies tomorrow morning, turning mostly cloudy in the afternoon with highs in the mid-70s. I'm First Alert meteorologist Nate Morris for the Voice of
FM Talk.
You'll be comfortable with the best. Turnbull Heating and Air.
Turnbull Heating and Air celebrates 60 years of service, expertise, and reliability in Western New York. Get $750 off any newly installed heating or cooling system. And Turnbull also wants to reach out to experienced HVAC residential and commercial technicians, as well as those just starting that career, to join our family of experts. The path to your future on the Turnbull team can include tuition reimbursement, paid training, and potential apprenticeships. Call Turnbull about your future as an HVAC Tech at 585-501-9100. 585-501-9100. Keeping Western New Yorkers comfortable with the best for over 60 years now. Turnbull Heating and Air.
You'll be comfortable with the best. Turnbull Heating and Air.
Need football wear and your gear personalized?
Top-notch monogramming.
Need towels, blankets, bags, hats, hoodies, jackets personalized.
Top-notch monogramming.
Need bridesmaid, groomsman gifts personalized.
Top-notch monogramming.
Need corporate wear, staff wear custom logoed and personalized.
Top-notch monogramming.
Need Rochester, Buffalo, New York wear.
Top-notch monogramming.
Need Grateful Dead, Bob Marley swag.
Top-notch monogramming.
No minimums. Customer supplied items welcome. Quick turnaround.
Top-notch monogramming can help.
Owner operated. 7 Shone Place, Pittsburgh.
Peace and love since 1992.
I didn't even know how to live a sober life. I was starting a new life over again, and it wasn't bad at all. Most people say, I found God. I look back and say, God was never lost. I was. I'm the one that walked away. I don't want to get back what I lost. I just want to be the best Tim that I could be.
Find out how you can help. Go to opendoormission.com.
Hi, this is Andrea Zaweski from Medicare U. Heard weekends at 3 o'clock on The Voice of Liberty. If you were a Medicare client of Karen Bell, who is now retiring, we at T65 and Beyond would be happy to take you on as clients. There is no cost or obligation to you. Call us at 585-485-0328. Again, we are T65 and Beyond, 585-485-0328. And we're here to help you, all those Karen Bell clients.
Mullen Factory Direct Flooring offers the latest in hardwood, vinyl, and carpet built to handle guests, spills, and everything the season brings. There's something for everyone, with hundreds of styles in stock and even more available to order. The team at Mullins makes every upgrade easy with personal service, expert advice, and professional installation. Right now, qualified buyers get special financing with 0% interest. Turn your space into the home you've always
Not hearing it.
Visit Mullen Factory Direct Flooring in Almond. They'll floor you.
At last, education for your pre-K to high school senior that honors your traditional values, including classical instruction of essentials, a family-friendly, safe, and nurturing environment, small class sizes, and school that's Common Core free and Catholic faith-based. Meet Archangel School in the town of Gates, where tuition's affordable and parental involvement is welcome. From Section 5 sports to a champion robotics club, there are many challenges to experience at Archangel School. Apply now for fall. Visit archangelschool.com or call 247-1112.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the Voice of Liberty.
So there's icky algae blooms in Canisius Lake, which is no surprise because they're there every August. Used to live on the wonderful Canisius Lake shoreline, and yeah, high temperatures and stagnant water and a lot of milfoil going into decline, and that results in algae, icky. Stay out of it.
So, can I share an address that people can rent? You know, like if you wanted to take a little time out, because guess what? I looked just as sporting, and I don't have any icky algae around me.
Perfect.
That's. I'll tell you what. If you go to Vrbo or Airbnb and you type in "our cottage on Canisius Lake," you'll find my property and check it out. It's simple, and this is the deal. It's a place for you to go and seriously focus on God, country, and family. And by the way, seriously, and this happens every year. I don't get those algae blooms around my property for some reason. I'm a lucky guy.
Must be something to do with the water flow in that area. Oh, by the way, business opportunities. If you would like to own a wonderful Art Deco movie theater, the cinema is for sale at Goodman and South Clinton, and it's $495,000.
Where's that at? In Avon?
No, it's in Rochester.
Oh, wait, what is it called? Oh, yeah,
The Cinema Theater.
Cinema.
You know the cinema.
Bob, let's buy it together. We'll make it the Voice of Liberty Cinema.
No, that's okay.
We just need an investor, like a donor investor.
Yeah, I've noticed lots of times when radio and TV stations own theaters, they don't do particularly well. But that's just me.
Well, you know what? It is in the middle of the city. In that area, I'll tell you what, this is what we'll do. If the cinema part don't work out, we'll convert the whole building into a place that, there's some local dispensaries in the area. And I figure after they, visit there, they can go to our cinema.
Yeah, well, that's a bad business idea, too, because sooner or later, you know what's going to happen. BlackRock's going to own all the pot shops.
You know that there's a proposal for that, right? For lounges.
That's where it's going.
California already launched them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
if there's any money to be made, the public-private partnerships are going to queer that.
Wait. If there's any money to be made on the ills of society, government is right there at the forefront to benefit from it.
We've just learned breaking news. Our FMs are back on the air. We see Channel 10 is on the air. So welcome back to the FM band. It may very well go off again. If not today, at least later this week, because, again, we have no control over what happens up on Pinnacle Hill. But you still got the ever-reliable 27,000-watt AM 1040, the biggest and best signal on the AM band in Rochester.
Let me read this to you, Bob. Completely different topic, because
Sure.
you've already proved how efficient you are in the business that you do. You're like an industry leader. I like that.
What? Why are you kissing up to me today like this?
Kissing?
What's going on here?
I'm pointing. Well, honestly, this is the deal. We were talking. Well, see, this is the deal. You said the word director, and this whole time I've been thinking. Wait a minute. I said 295,000 salaries a pro. I think we need to go higher than that. I'm thinking like, well, you know what, Bob? Because I like you. How about I do it because I love you?
You're embarrassing me.
Is that too much kissing up?
It is.
My gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you there's two things. One is he's my friend and I just like the guy. Two thing is I get nothing out of this show except for an opportunity to sit down with you guys and with the Voice of Liberty himself. Did you guys know that Voice of Liberty has been around, how many years? 55 years, you said, in the industry. See, this is the thing, Bob. Everywhere I go, and we talk about WYSL, WLEA. And you happen, if it's something that I'm sponsoring and you happen to show up, you know what people say to me?
Man, he's old.
Well, no, not really. They say he's the Voice of Liberty. You're expected to be old. So because that's wisdom. Old is wisdom, I was told. So 54 isn't so bad, and 55 is better when it comes to me.
What else you got there, Peter?
This is what they say. They say, how the heck did you get the Voice of Liberty
Trying to change the subject. What else have you got? Like sheafs of background stuff. You should see the way he preps for this show, folks.
Oh my gosh, I prep too much. I got to prep less. Before break, and ladies, I'm serious. He is the voice of liberty. Before break, Protect Act S2282A is the name of the bill. Check out what it does. It attempts to move the debate away from wealth to risk, right? Because check this out. Pre-child detention, right? It's not supposed to be a punishment. We all agree with that, right? Because this is the deal. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty, unless it's a issue of ideology, like, a conservative and the Democrats in the state. Because if you're a conservative, you're already guilty in New York. But what this bill does, and this is important, see, because again, a governor's race. What this bill does is that it establishes a standardized risk assessment process to help judges determine release conditions or detention based upon factors including potential dangers and risk. But, sir, I got a question for you, Senor Bob, right? If the government begins predicting who may be dangerous tomorrow, that standard needs to be pretty rigorous, because depending who's in charge tomorrow, that standard can change.
Well, the government shouldn't be defining who's dangerous. The government should be removing dangerous people from society. They should, through the enforcement of laws,
right?
They should be effecting arrests. If there needs to be an investigation in order to gather the evidence necessary to bring about an arrest, then that should take place, and they should zip their yaps about it and keep it to themselves. But these public, Tish James style proclamations of who's the good guys and who's the bad guys have got to stop.
But it's not just Tish James, though.
No, it's not just Tish James. I said Tish James style.
Yeah. Remember the judge that they shopped for to convict Trump on those, 34 convictions or whatever,
34 felonies, which were basically one felony. Well, it was not even a felony. It was the same felony over and over and over and over again, which the media, in typical inflammatory fashion, fanned the flames into 34 separate felonies. It was a bookkeeping error, as we all know. I mean, this matter has been solved 5 years ago.
Well, I know, but I bring that up because, see, that's what happens, in my opinion, when government starts predicting who may be dangerous. Because right now, what you hear a lot from the left, especially for a lot of the, is it okay if I say low information voters? I know that was a Rush thing. Is it inappropriate?
No, it's a completely appropriate phrase. But this is to be distinguished, though, from the Protect Act. This is that what are you tying this to the Protect Act?
Well, a little bit, because it does give the judges the opportunity to be able to make determinations.
They've got a felony or a Class A misdemeanor suspect, and there's a reason why we put these people in jail, because they are a danger to themselves or to society. So that's why bail has to be established, and if they're a real danger, the bail has to be set high. What the Protect Act does away with is this fiction, this this falsehood called cashless bail. Cashless bail equals no bail. That means we just let everybody go, and that's not appropriate for public safety in the case of people who are dangerous. So it's a dangerousness standard. It's not. The judges are not going out and Tish James style saying, "I think Peter Vasquez is dangerous," when there's no substance behind it.
But this is where, Bob, maybe you could help me understand. And callers 585-346-3000, 866-552-1009. See, this is my thing, Bob, is that we have seen both the left and the right, but we have seen the left. And now the very progressive left that many people refer to now as the DSA or the socialists of this nation,
or the
communists that are now becoming judge. Bob, I've seen people in our pro-life work that have been arrested and incarcerated and so forth, and have been deemed a problem by a judge on a progressive side. See, that's what I mean, though. What happens if the left, because the midterms are coming up, so let's say figuratively, right? Hochul stays in power, and the Democrats and some of those jokers from the DSA that won, and Congress, and all of a sudden we start having or seeing progressive judges being appointed in the next election if we lose the president. I'm just saying, hypothetical. I know.
Well, but there's an overarching issue here, and I'm glad you're bringing it up, and that is the politicization of the judiciary. We shouldn't be appointing or electing judges based upon political ideology, be it Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, communist, socialist. What we need to have, you've seen Lady Liberty standing there with the scales of justice with a blindfold on. They're supposed to be administering the administration of law without fear or favor. And so we got to stop all this identity politics infecting the judiciary. And when it comes to the dangerousness standard and the Protect Act is agnostic in terms of political convictions.
I don't disagree with that. I support the Protect Act. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get me wrong. Secret elections do have consequences, right? And the thing is, mainstream media refers to every judge in federal jurisdiction, especially when they say the Obama-appointed Supreme Court judge, or the Trump-supported, or the Biden-supported. That's why it matters. We'll be right back right here in the Next Step Show with lines open, 585-346-3000. What say you? No te vayas.
WYSL, WLEA, Voice of Liberty.
Is your house collecting dust faster than you can clean it? Then it's time for... Hold on. Then it's time for Super Vacuum, Rochester's go-to spot for vacuum sales, service, and repairs. Need bags, belts, filters, or a brand new machine? Super Vacuum has you covered with expert service and hometown care. You'll find us at 724 North Winton Road, right next to Browncroft Buds Dispensary.
Youth for Christ Rochester is creating a safe sanctuary and a Christ culture for at-risk city kids. Our basketball programs provides a strict code of conduct, discipline, and mentoring to give our kids the boundaries they need and crave. Our God's Girls middle school program is so popular, we're now in 3 city schools and growing. Our Performing Arts Academy explores and identifies untapped gifts, all while delivering the gospel of Jesus Christ. Give a monthly or one-time gift at yfcrochester.org/donate.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the Voice of Liberty.
Something, check this out. 2 small businesses, counterfeit $100 bills, a month-long investigation, and then an arrest where the judge says options. Well, guess what? They're determined by state law. So investigators in a Livingston County counterfeit bill case, check this out. See? Right to what we're saying. 3 felony counts for this individual, first-degree criminal possession of a forged document, right? 3 felony first-degree scheme to defraud, 3 fourth-degree conspiracy counts, 3 petty larceny counts. But investigators said this: the judge did release George on her own recognizance.
Yeah, it's called ROR, released on own recognizance. Basically, another silly phrase that basically means, I know myself and I wouldn't do anything bad.
But he released her because the offense did not qualify for bail based on state law.
Well, there is no bail. Bail's been done away with by Governor Hochul and her furry woodland friends. That's what cashless bail is.
Did you say furry woodlands?
I did. It's just a turn of phrase, but you know what I'm saying here? I mean, Peter just read a list of charges as long as your arm, if you have really long arms. And why are these people being let go? First of all, you got the immediate safety issue. These people are criminals, and criminals tend to not have a lot of compunctions against, getting away with what they want to get away with. So that means that they're not going to let you get in the way or anybody else. So that defines, beyond debate, somebody who is dangerous to society. Now, you have to ask yourself the question, why are Democrats so in favor of letting criminals go and unleashing them on society? Well, let me tell you why they do that, in case you haven't already figured it out. And bear with me, because I know a lot of you have already figured this out. But for those of you who haven't, what they want is chaos in the streets. Mm-hmm. Why do the leftists want chaos in the streets? Because then you will clamor to be protected. And so the powers that be, the statists, the Marxists, the communists, the Democrats, that you should never, ever, ever vote for again, as long as you're a breathing, sentient human being. Mm-hmm. What they want is to say, oh, you want safety? We'll make you safe. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take away all your freedoms.
So you make up one again, because I think that is de Blasio. If you guys earlier, Bob, I mean, you described what this guy was saying. This is why they believe in things like the DSA. And Bob, I do want to disagree a little bit with you, because over the time I've been bringing up DSA a little bit, mm-hmm. We've been kind of like, well, maybe, that's just a fad. I don't think they're a fad, Bob. And I think that everything you described is exactly what is being pushed by the DSA. And when people like de Blasio, see, the thing is this, he starts normalizing everything you just described. And that's a mayor who has a lot of influence over one of the cities that has more people in their city limits than we have almost in some states.
Well, I don't know. Bill de Blasio, William Wilhelm III, which is his real name. It's very interesting that the Democrats, well, it's his real name.
Yeah. He has to hide for politics because it's an act.
Because it's an act. The Democrats are the party where their leading candidates have aliases. Ladies and gentlemen, Barack Obama is Barry Soetoro. His name is as fake as, I don't know, as you can. Did you want to play this?
Do we have time?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I like Laura Ingraham. Someday when I grow up, I'm going to be like her. When I grow up as a host, she's phenomenal. She brings out the truth. And de Blasio couldn't answer. When you're ready, sir.
Okay. De Blasio.
Like a majority of the American people, I think we should get out of the war in Iran. I think we should have Medicare for all. I think we should have higher taxes on the wealthy. There's plenty of areas I agree with them on. There's plenty of areas where I disagree. But the point is, Laura, I respect you. You've been a journalist for a long time, but your estimation of what's going on here is entirely false. The fact is, there are specific leaders who have emerged out of the DSA who are providing a vision that actually a lot of people in this country are hungry for. That is not the status quo of what's broken with the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And it's not about some stray activist members. It's not about a platform. It is about the leaders that are emerging, like Bernie Sanders, AOC, Mamdani, some of the folks who have won primaries lately. They are pointing in a specific direction, and there's a reason they're winning. They're talking about progressive policies.
Which policies? Let's get really specific. Let's get specific.
I literally laid out to you the kinds of things they're advocating.
No. You said this is the stuff the Democrats have been saying.
Well, he is a Democrat. What'd you expect, Laura? But I'm very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That's a minute and 11 seconds of your life you'll never get back. Absolutely. I mean, the bullet points, check them out. Raise taxes, end the war in Iraq, or in Iran, rather. So, let's turn loose the fundamental Muslims and have them terrorize the Straits of Hormuz and bomb their neighbors. Sure, absolutely. Let's let that just continue ad infinitum.
Well, they're letting it happen in the streets of New York. I mean, come on. I mean, we've seen the pictures, but see though, Bob, what that cut truly shows though is where the Democrats believe that responsibility belongs, because in their philosophy, which is why we cannot vote for Governor Hochul. Listen, you have to vote for Blakeman. Look him up. I mean, the guy, he is a little dry in this video, but he's got it straight, because, well,
have you noticed the crowds that are showing up for Blakeman?
Huge. Does government create anything, Bob? You've been around a little longer than me. In your lifetime, the 20 years you got on me, have you ever seen government create like something substantial for you and me, other than the Trump account.
Oh yeah, I've seen him create all kinds of things.
Like what?
Taxes, infringement on your liberties, taking away choices. Government makes possible things like drag queen story hours for kindergartners. Obscene pornographic books in school libraries.
Gender neutrality.
All kinds of stuff. Government's just very, very busy, and it's very expensive.
And none of it has done anything for the common man anywhere, especially in places like New York. But when we look at places like Florida, for example, and I'm not going to, or Texas or Tennessee or some of the other states that happen to be run by people who understand, see a constitution, who happen to understand things like we the people. Right? Mark Turner, thank you again for commenting. As a reminder, we are on all social medias, The Next Step Show, Rumble, Facebook, we're there. Mark Turner said, it's a sad state of affairs when the lawmakers side with the lawbreakers. See, yesterday I played a clip, which was a commercial from the Blake. It was an AI created. And the thing is, it was accurate because it said, see, I'm a criminal here in New York State, but Kathy Hochul made it easy for me to get out. Well, when you put the responsibility of something, right, where it's not supposed to be, I'm sorry, check this out. If I pull the trigger and I cause harm or death to someone else, I, Peter Vasquez, am responsible for that, not the government. But this is the kicker, though, ladies and gentlemen, that I want you to think about. See, if the government creates policy, if the government creates or continues to influence a culture where they have created a separation between people like you and me. And they say you and me because I believe that many of you align with everything we're saying here. But I believe that some of you are like, well, wait a minute, Peter. The government gave me community schools. The government gave me food stamps while I got on my feet. The government gave me a college education. Don't I owe them something?
What?
Well, listen, Bob, that's what I did.
Please tell me you're just playing devil's advocate.
Why do you think the executive director at a local agency here in Rochester, New York, I told you at one point when I was applying for jobs, a job that I applied for that was focused on battered women, the executive director, they were all focused on ideology. That job I applied for, the last thing that would have made the difference, because it was between me and another person, is how well of a plan or how good of a plan I can create to deal with at the time things like defund the police, things like what was it then? It was defund the Black Lives Matter. That was the focus. It wasn't the I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm applying for the executive director of one of the lead agencies in battered woman. That's where my focus is.
Say to sign on all these leftist Marxist tropes.
Yes, that is
to be considered for a job.
The government responsibility, Bob.
Well, that's Rochester, New York.
That is Rochester, New York. We got time for callers. I mean, can I tell them to call?
We're just about to hit the closing theme here. We time to wrap up the show, as it were. But there will be time again tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, check it out. Whatever political philosophy you support, let me ask you this. Does it survive your scoreboard? The thing is, what is your scoreboard founded on? I don't know. You need to think about that. God, country, and family. Be a leader. Be a leader. Be a leader. God bless these United States of America. And hey, don't let 1 second go by where you are not a voice for liberty.
And our FM's back on the air, 92.1, 95.5 West in Rochester. Of course, the Hornell FM's 92.1, 106.9 of it on continuously. Anyway, see you next time.
No soy niño empedernido, no me juzgues, te lo pido. Reconoce que el amor llegó esta vez. Soy cara de niño, con alma de hombre. Quiero amarte para siempre, pero tú no me respondes. Soy cara de niño.
Are you planning an outdoor event and need a convenient solution for restroom needs?